our first weekly press conference with our head coach, Coach Michael Vick. Again, last week, Towson, this week, Virginia State. We'll start again with an opening statement from Coach Vick, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely ready to be on to this week. Last week was sort of a disappointment. We expected to win that game. We knew what we was up against, but we feel like it's time to turn the page. We have to turn the page, and so excited that we get back out there this week, and we got a good opponent coming in. Definitely can't underestimate them, nor would they underestimate us, and so it's gonna make for a good football game on Saturday night. So it's about us, tightening up the little things and the details, and just getting better each and every day. So we're just gonna stay the course and continue to right the ship.
Coach, have you established your post-game routine yet? Like, some watch film right away. You said you're looking forward to the process of going through that post-game routine. Have you established that yet? I mean, are you still getting used to that?
Yeah, I think everything is taking form naturally. You don't have to force anything in this business. Obviously, when you get into it, it's a process of getting to know the guys, getting to know the landscape, and then ultimately moving forward to learning how you got to practice and how you got to be pre-game, post-game, and definitely after the games what to look for. So you can't teach anything until you learn it. And so we trying to just learn each and every day. Get better each and every day, be competitive each and every day, and we believe in one another, we believe in our scheme, we believe in us, and so that won't change. We just got to continue to rep everything out, hop on our routines, and for me as a coach, I'm just looking forward to every step of the way in the process and to keep teaching.
As you look back at the film, there was just a couple opportunities. I think before each touchdown was a drop interception. So we had opportunities to get off the field even in those moments, and some of the penalties and stop drives. You talk about just being this far away. How really real is that for you now, looking at the film?
Yeah, after going back and watching it, and I think everybody can attest to this, it's just about being disciplined. We had these issues in the spring. We had them in fall camp as far as the penalties and trying to lessen those each and every week, and we got better each and every week. So I expect that part to be better. But like I said at halftime, you can't take steps forward and then steps back, and it's hard to make plays. And when we do make them, we want to make sure that they count. So we'll continue to work through the details, work hard on the details, and find ways to execute so that we leave no stones unturned and leave no excuses when it's all said and done. But definitely got to continue to be disciplined. Like I say, can't give up the big plays, can't spot them points, and that's what we did. And thank God our defense kept us in it, and the offense they found their rhythm in the second half. But just got to start a little faster.
Talk about after the loss. What were the next 48 hours like for you after dealing with a loss?
Well, my first loss as a coach. You take it different other than being a player. And after this season, I probably stopped referencing myself as a player, but that's what I can relate to because I'm so close to what they're doing, and I'm so connected to what they're doing. The difficult part about this is being a former player, I think, and seeing things and knowing the way it's supposed to go. So I got to distance myself, from that realm. But once I think that's going to keep my competitive edge. It's going to make them better. Ultimately, it's going to make me better. But I just gotta, I don't take losses well, even though I understand it's a part of the game. So, for the sake of my boys, I got to make sure that I keep my sanity and know that I got to keep clarity in my mind for them, keep them clear-headed, keep them believing, staying focused, and we're not going. Did we expect to win every game this year? Yes, we expected to go 12-0, but realistically, was it going to happen? Probably not. So, the bumps and bruises happen early, and now we're going to pick up the pieces. That's what this journey is all about. It's not where you start, it's where you finish.
Just to piggyback on that a little bit, do you feel like sometimes you don't have the players' attention when everything is building up, but then after a loss, do you feel like you have their attention even that much more now?
Well, I think, it's a wake-up call for them. And I always felt like I had their attention. When we in our settings and we having our conversations, everybody understands the big picture. You don't have to tell winners how to win. You just got to show them how to win. They all want to win. They're winners at heart. And so, you know, I know who our core guys are. They're sitting in here right now. They can continue to lead, continue to make plays, continue to get better. Guys going to follow them, and that's what's going to make this journey easy for us. So you just got to continue to press forward, keep pushing ourselves each and every day, keep competing hard, and don't get comfortable with where we are. You know, we're right there at the cusp of being really, really good.
After the game, a couple of the players were walking off the field, and you said, "You're going to wear this one," and you called them back. Why was it important for you to do that?
Well, like I said, we can have high expectations and high standards, you know, around here, and we expect to win. We don't hope to win. You know, we expect to win. So it's a difference, and so I know that, you know, it touched them a little bit, but I also know, you know, despite the penalties and the 2 big plays, we right there in the game. So I know that's what was hurting them. They obviously gonna go back and look at it and watch it, and so, you know, critiquing, you know, themselves and one another is gonna always be at a premium. And so, you know, for them it's about doing their job and doing it effectively. And as we continue to grow, this game will be easier for them. So, you know, it's just a loss that we gotta wear and we gotta accept it, and we won't get a chance to face those guys again until next year. That's the difficult part about it, but we'll bounce back.
As a coach, how quickly do you move on to Virginia State after Saturday?
Yeah, it's about short-term memory. You can't. It's nothing that game can do for us now, other than us learning from it. And so, I think the biggest part of coming out of that game was that we got a lot that we can teach off of. And you know, I'll put the onus on the players to do the same, take on the responsibility of getting better, correcting the mistakes, and then as coaches, we'll put them in better positions. And so, you know, like I said, you can't be taught until you learn. So we got to continue to teach, and continue to compete.
What do you see from the Trojans?
I see a good defense. I see a defense that's stout. I see a team that's, you know, coming off a big victory. They put up a lot of numbers. They had success. They scored points. You know, we're gonna take them for granted. You know, we're gonna give them all the credit, and they're gonna be riding high, and they're gonna come in and they're gonna try to upset us, as everybody will. But you know, we lace them up just like them, and we're gonna be excited and ready to defend our turf. And so it's gonna make for a good game. Our boys gonna be ready for the challenge, and we're gonna have fun.
First rivalry game as a head coach for Norfolk State. How do you approach that differently, maybe than you did a rivalry as a player?
You know, a rivalry is a rivalry. You know, it is what it is. You know, it's a lot to play for. It's always the bragging rights amongst the fan bases and amongst the players who might meet when they, you know, just kind of moving around in traffic. And so, you know, that's what football is all about, man. It's all about competing. It's all about, you know, what you do within that 60 minutes and dominating. And so, you know, I understand that, you know, we got to instill that in them. You know, it's already in them, like I said, and you know, we're going to enjoy every minute of this journey, the good and the bad, the emotional roller coaster, and ride this thing high.
To come out to your first game here, 19,000, that had to be good to see a stadium full of Spartan fans.
Yeah, you know, obviously 19,000 on Thursday night was big. You know, the one thing I would ask for a little more is a little more crowd participation. You know, third downs get loud, you know, when the defense is on the field. Make this a hostile environment. But, you know, like I say, we got to give them reason to cheer. And so it was amazing, you know, output as far as the fans. And, you know, hopefully we can continue to get that participation, because the one thing about it, we're gonna bring it every week. And we're going to be focused, and we're going to try to make sure that we please each and every fan who paid for a ticket.
Final question for me. I think every player in here who will speak today played well for you. How do you assess the guys who you knew you needed to play well, how they played on Thursday?
Yeah, well, you know, how, you know, these guys who you're going to get to talk to in a minute, how they played, don't surprise me. I've seen what they can do on film. Before I got here, I've seen on film what they can do in the spring and the fall. And so I know who my marquee players are, my premier players. I know that they're leaders, and you know, they all want great things for not only themselves but for their teammates. And so that's the reason why they're sitting here. That's the reason why they had the success that they had. And and they'll keep building on the foundation they've created. So, that's one thing you can definitely hang your hat on. Great men.
Will Izzy start at quarterback Saturday, or you have not decided yet?
Yeah, Izzy will start at quarterback this Saturday.
Will you have any packages for Otto to come in, or are you still kind of working that through?
It could be a package for Otto. He'll probably get a drive or two for sure. We got two good quarterbacks, man. We just want to lean on that. Obviously, this week Izzy will finish the game, but we got guys that we trust. We got guys that, downside third and fourth, who can get out there and get us through a game and get us out of the stadium with a win. So we trust them all, and we just want to give them that just due.
Was that your call after 3 drives to take Izzy out and put Otto in? Whose call was that?
We was planning on giving Otto a couple drives in the game anyway. It's just we went down and didn't want to play the quarterback carousel, the quarterback shuffle. I don't get into that unless I see that it was warranted. But we have a veteran in Otto who could finish the game, and so we put our faith in him in the moment. And we fell short, but he played really, really well. Gave us a lot of confidence. Gave his teammates confidence, most important. And now we're just going to continue to let those guys go out and compete at a high level and play the game they love to play.
I know you've known Izzy for a couple of years now. What did you tell him after the game? Was he feeling a certain type of way, like down or anything like that, or what did you tell him?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, being a young quarterback, you want to go out there, you want to finish the game, you want to put on for your teammates. He was distraught. He wasn't the happiest, but it's just one game. One game of many that he's going to play in, and so for him it was about just staying focused, staying in the moment. Understanding that your opportunity is coming, and when your opportunity continue to come, you got to be ready for it. So it was nothing against Israel. It was already discussed that we was going to get Otto some drives. So no quarterback controversy or anything going on like that. If it's somebody who know how to handle that, it's me. But it wouldn't never happen if we didn't feel that we had two good quarterbacks who can give us a spark at any time.
Did you give any advice about just your own personal, of being in a situation like that you could reflect and give to him and say, hey, this is like what you learned from?
Yeah, well, ultimately talking about, how you move forward from this is a big thing. It's ways that you got to start a game. You got to come out. You got to, not to say that you're gonna come out fast and smoking, but at the end of the day, you got to fall into a rhythm. And so, want to give him the opportunity to get into a rhythm. Go out there, make a set of plays, share plays, make it share mistakes that he can learn from, and just grow as a quarterback. And so, it's a long-term plan with Israel. He got to understand that he's still growing. He's still learning. Do he do everything right now? No. But he has to go through his growing pains, and so this is just a part of it. I'm worried about the finished product, not about who's feeling what right now, or how they feel like they could have played or would have played. It's all about development for me, and so I got to do it in the right moments and in the right space, and when the product is finished, y'all will know. You see it.
All right, everybody, thank you.